Thank you very much for joining me here today. I'm very excited to talk about careers in theatre and accessible routes into the industry so that you can join us in bringing the magic to life backstage. My name is Beth Davis, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Learning and Outreach Coordinator here at LW Theatres. Before we jump into what early career options we have, I'm just going to play a video for you to give you a little bit of context as to who we are and what we do. So we are LW Theatres. We are owned by Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, who has created many iconic shows over the many years. And I've put a few on the screen for you to have a little look at. Hopefully some will be familiar to you, but we've had all of these shows have played internationally across the world, as well as across London's West End. For instance, we had Evita over the summer at the London Palladium, and Phantom of the Opera has been going for almost 40 years at His Majesty's Theatre. And as well as creating all of these iconic shows, Andrew Lloyd Webber also owns and operates 6 commercial theatres across London's West End. So we've got the London Palladium, His Majesty's Theatre, the Cambridge, Gillian Lynn Theatre, Theatre Royal Drury Lane, and the Adelphi. So all of those 6 theatres are what we call receiving houses. So what that means is that we own and operate the buildings themselves, and then production companies will create the show elsewhere and then bring those shows into one of our theatres. We're the largest operator of musical theatre in London. Chances are, if you've come to see a musical, you have been in one of our 6 theatres, which is very exciting. But as well as musicals, we also do various concerts and events, so comedy, podcast recordings. We've had Netflix premieres, all that sort of stuff. So there's so many cool and exciting things that go on in theatres, and it's not just musicals and plays. It's all glitz and glamour. And if you haven't had a chance to visit us before, here's a quick video just showing you around some of our world famous venues, as well as some of the teams that we have that work for us at LW Theatres. So as you can see from the video, there's loads of teams that make up LW Theatres. It's not just the actors on stage in the spotlight. You know, behind the scenes, we have lawyers and accountants and property managers in our Drury Lane office. We also have, obviously, in the venues themselves, we have our front of house teams and theatre managers, and we have our backstage crew working on the technical aspects of the show to make sure that everything runs smoothly. One of the great things is that everyone that I've spoken to across the business has had a very different route into theatre. So there's no one particular right way to get into the industry, which is really exciting. But with that comes the sort of the question of, well, how can, if you are interested, what is the best first step? What can I do to join in making the magic happen on stage? And so we're really keen at LW Theatres to make the industry as accessible as possible for anyone who's interested. And so we've put together 3 sort of early career opportunities for you to hopefully take part in as your sort of first steps. So what are those 3 routes? I'm sure all of you are very familiar with all of these, but we have work experience, we have internships and apprenticeships. All of those have slightly different reasons why you'd pick them over the other, but I'll kind of go into the details as to what that looks like with us. So in terms of work experience, that's probably our most established program that we have. And it's also has the most opportunities available. We welcomed over 20 young people last summer to our 6 venues, across our 6 venues and our office in Drury Lane. It's great because for this work experience, it's for ages 16 plus. You get to spend a week working with the teams who work on the big shows in the West End. Unfortunately, the opportunity is unpaid, but we do cover lunch and reasonable travel. And if you are successful in getting the work experience placement, we're very happy to have conversations to help support you throughout the process with whatever you need. It's also our kind of broadest opportunity as well. We currently run 3 different programs. So we do technical theatre, which is working backstage. We have theatre operations, which is working front of house. That's the kind of custom service facing role. And then we also have marketing, so that's working in our offices with our fabulous marketing team. So kind of whatever area of theatre that you're interested in, we currently have a sort of an area of work experience for you, and we're looking at expanding those programs in the future. So if you have a particular interest, get in touch and we can see what we can do. In terms of, we also do internships. So we currently run 2 of these a year, and this has a focus on technical theatre. So that's with a focus on stage and electrics. You get placed in one of our 6 venues, and it's for those ages 18 plus, and it is a paid opportunity. So you get paid national minimum wage for the duration of the 6 weeks. And we run that in partnership with Masterclass Trust, who, if you're unfamiliar, they're a fantastic theatre charity that do lots of free events and workshops for ages 16 to 30. So if you're interested in theatre in general, you can also have a look out for them. I've got a short video here just to kind of that just gives a little bit of insight into specifically our work experience program, and kind of you get to hear from the people themselves as to what they thought, but I think it kind of speaks across all of our programs.
This stage, look how big this is. So cool.
And then I went up to spots to see what that was like.
Briefing as well, so I was like standing there saying all the names.
Oh, definitely. I want to come into this. Definitely. What about you?
It was really interesting to see not the audience point of view of theatre.
This work experience is just a really good opportunity to like get your foot in the door.
Yeah, just try and absorb as much information as possible.
Sadie to stalls for radio check.
Don't be afraid to be you. I thought the application process was like really nicely done for a first time at applying.
I had had no experience in technical theatre before I joined, even though I knew it was a career that I wanted to pursue.
Meeting as well with different people with your same interest, because we come from literally everywhere.
Yeah, no one I know works in theatre, but this has really led me on to like a really like good dream career of mine.
I was introduced to every single person that worked there, so you didn't feel like a bit like an outsider, like I felt like fully involved.
And you learn a lot and you get to meet a lot of very interesting people.
Stage. Well, I'm coming back in the summer.
Oh, okay, again.
Another
set of experience.
yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, they offered me a full-time job at Matilda, so working 8 shows a week.
LW Theatres are really they really want to help you, really want you to feel part of it and get involved.
Great. So, whereas with work experience and internships, they're great to kind of get a foot in the door, a little bit of experience, a good insight into, is this the right thing for me? Is this something that I want to pursue? Or kind of gain a little bit more experience. Apprenticeships we also offer apprenticeships, which are there for if you know that I want to work in theatre, I know this is what I want to do. So yeah, we also have those on offer. For those who aren't familiar with apprenticeships, they're basically on-the-job training where you get paid a wage and work full time alongside getting the benefits of a full qualification at the end of it. This means that unlike university, you know earn while you learn. You don't have to pay to do the course. You get paid to do the course, which is a fantastic sort of accessible route to the industry. And one of the great benefits as well, or an additional great benefit, I should say, is that you're already working during the apprenticeship, you're already working alongside, you know, experts in the industry, you know, learning all of their experience, getting the opportunity to ask them direct questions. So you're already that sort of step ahead with the sort of networking and creating connections than other people who are approaching different routes. And alongside the on-the-job training, apprentices spend at least 20% of their working hours completing classroom-based learning. So what that means practically is that you'll spend 4 days in one of our theatres and then 1 day at college or doing college work. And no prior experience is necessary. You have to complete like a standard set of just your A levels or GCSEs, but you don't have to be an expert in theatre, you don't have to be an expert in electrics or stage or whatever. The point of an apprenticeship is that you learn the job that you're applying for. And so what does that look like at LW Theatres? So we are currently in our second year of having apprenticeships at LW, which is really exciting for us. So it's all relatively new. But we currently offer 2 places a year for a level 3 creative venue technician apprenticeship. What that means is that you'll learn more about staging and maintaining live events and live theatre from us, from across, you know, 6 of the biggest world famous theatres in the world, if not the West End. And specifically that means that you'll be working on, you know, and learning about sound and automation and stagecraft and video and like all of those fantastic things that make up a show. And towards the end of your apprenticeship, you'll have the opportunity to specialise. So if you were working on a particular show and you really enjoyed the automation, you can then focus more on that. Or if you're like, oh, I really like all the lighting stuff and electrics might be for me, you can kind of refine your interests, which is really great. So yeah, you kind of get that breadth of technical knowledge from both the college and from working in theatres with our fantastic teams. And I think I'll speak on behalf of the apprentices, but I think they're having an absolutely amazing time so far. They've had the opportunity to work in all of the venues. They've done loading shows in and out. They've had the experience of what it looks like to maintain a show that's been running for 10, 20, 30 years and how you maintain that night after night. And we've had feedback from like existing teams that they've heard what the apprentices are doing, and they're like, that's great. I want to do that. Because normally what happens is you enter your kind of specific job role, and you kind of just do that because that is the job that you've applied for. Whereas with an apprenticeship, you get all that breadth of experience, so then you can figure out what you want to do in the future once you've completed your apprenticeship. And we've got 4 apprentices at the moment, 2 in their first year, 2 in their second year, and they had various levels of experience before joining us. None of them were experts in theatre. Hopefully they'll be experts by the time they finish their apprenticeship. But yes, there's no like prior experience necessary. What we're looking for when people apply for our apprenticeships or to be an apprentice is just, you know, a great positive attitude, seeing how they look at problem solving, and just a passion for theatre and for events and live entertainment, because obviously that is what we're doing night after night. We want people to kind of join our teams with that same enthusiasm that our existing colleagues have. So yeah, and all of our apprentices, you know, none of them came from London originally. They've all moved from various parts of the country to join us in London, which is really exciting. And we were able to provide that kind of level of pastoral care from that transition of education to work, as well as, you know, welcome to London. What does that look like? So don't think that you have to already be living in London, that you already have to have, you know, tons of experience in theatre. that is the point of the apprenticeship, is to teach you and to give you that opportunity to get that experience and education. And so, yeah, if you are interested in applying, we have a two-step recruitment process. And that is, step one is just submit your CV and application when the application's open. And then step two would be, if you're shortlisted, you are invited to an in-person assessment day. I've put a couple of pictures on the right-hand side of the screen of what that looks like. But basically, it's a really great opportunity to meet some of the team that you'll be directly working with if you're successful, to get a bit of hands-on experience on some of the stuff that you would be doing during the apprenticeship and during your sort of working day, as well as just like a chance to ask lots of questions of, industry experts that have been doing this for however many years. So yeah, it's a really cool opportunity if that's something that you're interested in. And yeah, it's a kind of great accessible route into particularly the backstage technical side of theatre. So yeah, I've sort of focused on the technical side just because that is our specific area for our early outreach opportunities, for a lot of our early outreach opportunities. But there are so many jobs in theatre that you may not think of as being theatre related, like I mentioned earlier with the lawyers, marketing, um, accountants, etc. There's so many people that go into making a show happen behind the scenes, not just on stage. And so if you have any questions at all about the theatre industry, about any of the opportunities that I've mentioned today, just get in touch. I've put our outreach email on the screen. I'm on the other side of that, so I will be answering your questions or redirecting to the best person who can support you, as well as the QR code leads to our website, where all of our details are listed. So yeah, if you have any opportunity, if you have any interest, reach out. You can also register your interest. So then when any of our opportunities go live, you will be the first person to be notified. So then you can apply as soon as possible. But yeah, very excited. And hopefully you found that informative and interesting. Thank you.